guys, it's Raquel from Converse College again. Today I am going to quickly show you a tutorial on how to make bottle people. If you've never heard of a bottle person, I'm about to show you examples that I've made. And basically you take somebody who's made a difference. I specifically focused on the United States, but it could be in the world. It doesn't matter. And you use a bottle and recreate them. Um, I had a really fun time doing this. I've seen when I used to teach in the school system, I've seen where fourth graders used to do this. So it's definitely a fourth grade project. And it's super fun and super easy. One thing I will say going into it, you'll kind of see along the way what materials I'm using. And you could, there's my dog Sven. Say hey, Sven. Um, and you'll get to see some of the materials I'm using and what you'll need. A lot of the materials will probably already be in your classroom or another teacher would have. A lot of art materials. It is very arts integrated and also it can be English integrated. And I'll talk about that closer to the end. So the first thing I'm going to do is I'm going to show you my bottle people that I have made. So this is Harriet Tubman. Kind of looks like Rosa Parks too, but I think the headband makes it more Harriet Tubman. So you notice this is a Coke bottle. And this is Abraham Lincoln. Yay! I got your beard, hat. It's basically like I brought him to life. So cool, right? So I'm going to quickly go over how I did this. And again, you can use different materials, but I use stuff that probably you already have lying around that you don't have to spend a lot of money on otherwise. So the first thing you want to do is you want to collect bottles. And again, you can make this a single project. Each student has to do one, or you can make it a group project where you don't have to have as much material. So it just depends on you and what you have available. So the first thing you want to do is empty your Coke bottle. And what I did, and you can really use anything, dirt, sand, anything with weight. The only thing is that I took out the liquid because the liquid makes bottles a little like bobbleheadish. It doesn't actually, it weighs them down, but if it gets knocked, the liquid moves with it. With the sand, it doesn't move with it. So I've got sand in the bottom of mine. And again, I like the Coke bottle just because of the shape. It kind of looks like a body almost, curves and stuff. But you can use any bottle. I use 20 ounce. Again, you can use 1 liter, 2 liter. It does not matter. Your choice. And that's it. So let's get started. So the first thing I do on both of my people, which I'm going to show you why. So on Harriet, you see this little bit of white right here. And on Abraham Lincoln, you not only see white right here, but you see it all the way down. The reason I do this first is I cut out a piece of white paper and I take my hot glue gun, and this is one of those things that you probably have. Maybe you want to be in control of the hot glue gun, or maybe you want to find some way else to do it. But I put the hot glue on the bottle top, and I take a white piece of cloth, and I just put it on the top. And mine were a little bit bigger than this, but this was just to show you an example. And you kind of want to cover it because this space is going to be the neck. And if you didn't have some kind of colored piece, white, black, gray, it doesn't matter what color you do, this is going to show. So you definitely want to do something. I like white because most people have white, but like I said, black, gray, red, whatever you want to do. There you go. So after I did that, I got my heads, and this is one of the very first things you want to do. And this is because you have to wait for the paint to dry. So craft stick, skewer stick, whatever. I got a pack of these for less than $1 at Walmart. So I stab my head, and then I take a sponge, any kind of paintbrush. I've got a whole pack of paintbrushes around here somewhere. Oh, here we go. Whole pack, all different kind of paintbrushes. Whatever you want to use. Again, arts integration. Ask your art teacher. I'm sure she or he will let you borrow some. And then you take skin colored paint. I've got 2 right here. I've got a dark brown and a light and like a sand color. I would do those 2 and maybe one in between if you want, but honestly, the 2 would probably be perfect, and then you could mix those 2 to make a middle ground if you had to. So you put it on paper plate or whatever you have available, dab it, paint your whole thing, blah, blah, blah. Then you take this, y'all, and as long as it's not raining, take this outside, and that's why I use the craft sticks. Stab it in the ground and let it dry. Y'all, it will dry so quick. It's not sitting on anything. That's why I like the craft sticks. Amazing. So then while that's drying outside, you are going to start on your clothes. So this is kind of one of those things where I can't really show you, but I'll kind of go in detail about what I did with mine. For Harriet, we made a little blue dress with a green shawl. And y'all, and then all of these materials were shirts and shorts that I was getting rid of. I didn't buy anything to make these clothes. I cut up a blue shirt, cut up a green shirt, and I cut up a pair of shorts, and I had clothes for Harriet. So easy. Same for Abraham Lincoln. I cut up a white shirt, I cut up a black shirt, and I had a bow tie and a whole outfit. It doesn't get any easier than that. And this is just construction paper. So, again, that's one of those things you probably have laying around your classroom anyways. If not, another teacher would. So, and I'm going to kind of give you some ideas on how to get these materials without spending a bunch of money as well. So then you're going to just cut up. We did, myself and a friend of mine made the dress. It was a little harder, but we kind of did like a triangle type thing and wrapped it around her body. And then this, we did a diamond shape, put it over her head, made the slit, and tied the knots. So easy. So easy. So after you get your clothes cut out, you're going to want to obviously either super glue them. Again, that's one of those things that you might want to be in charge of as the teacher. Or staplers. We did use staplers on a few things, and this is another iffy thing. I just happen to have these laying around. Safety pins, really easy. I think we use safety pins on Abraham Lincoln's clothes just to kind of make them look a little bit better. Again, one of those things, I don't know if you want them in your classroom. So stapler, hot glue gun, whatever. And then obviously you're going to need scissors. So have scissors for all your students. So then, after I got all the clothes on, I went back outside and I got my head. Pretend this is painted. And I took it off the craft stick. And what I did was I cut a circle about that big and I carved it out. Like, so there was an indentation in the ball. And I took it and I put hot glue down in the styrofoam ball. And I pushed it on the bottle. And it goes perfectly on top if you cut enough. Like, look at that. I mean, it's perfect. Again, a little piece would show if you didn't do the white. But, like, the bottle top shouldn't show at all. Because you should cut enough out of your styrofoam balls or your heads. You should just carve it out. Have your students carve it out to fit right on top. And it stays. It's amazing. So, once you have it on, the first thing I did was put the googly eyes on. I used a permanent marker to mark where I wanted my eyes, and like you saw in my last video, my math video, my 10 dot and 5, my 5 frame and 10 frame. If you don't have googly eyes in your classroom, it's not a classroom. I promise. You need googly eyes, and you can get them so cheap at Walmart. And if for some reason you don't have them, I know somebody in your school will have them. Put your eyes on. I'll show you Abe this time since I've been showing Harry a lot. Draw your nose and paint. Surprisingly enough, I took orange and dark brown and I mixed these and I came up with like a brownish pink color for Abe, and I came up with a pinkish color for Harriet Tubman using these two colors. So you can mix, don't forget mixed paints. Integrate that art in there. Kids love doing that kind of stuff. And then final touches, I used, for both of them, I used buttons, one here, and several on Abe. I used buttons to set off the outfit a little bit. I've got a huge bag of buttons. Again, I think you've seen these in my 5 and 10 frame vlog. all different colors, all different sizes, perfect for things like this. Just to spice it up a little bit, just to make your person look, I don't want to say modern because they're not modern people, but just, spice up the outfit. And probably one of the hardest parts for me was the hair on Abraham Lincoln. And I got this stuff, and although it's a little pricey, it's totally worth it. It's 14 ounces of spray adhesive, and I got the Gorilla Glue kind because it had really good reviews online. I didn't even know this existed until I did this project. This stuff's amazing. So what I did is I took black yarn, and as you can see, it's really thick and it's like braided. But what I did is I cut like inch long pieces, and I just shredded. I shredded it, and like as you can see, it shreds fairly easily. And I would spray a little bit of glue, and I'd put some fuzz, and I'd spray a little glue, and I'd put some fuzz, and I did one round, and then I did another round, and that's how I came up with Abe's beard and his hair. So that was really fun. Even I learned something, which is awesome. So, just play around with it. What I was going to tell you is I know a lot of these materials seem expensive, or I don't have, like some of us clean out our closet once a month and we don't have extra stuff later on. I'm telling you, if you post on Facebook or Twitter or Instagram or send out a mass email to your school, teachers and other people will help you out. They will. And even as far as like the clothing and stuff, I know like the Goodwill and Salvation Army, they have like a sales rack and you can get a shirt for 25 cents. So bottles, send notes home to your kids. Tell them you have a fun project. Send bottles if you have them. And you can do different sizes. One kid could use a 20-ounce bottle. One kid could use a 2-liter bottle. It doesn't matter. They don't have to be the same unless you just have a preference. And most of this stuff you can reuse. So even if you did have to go buy like the craft sticks and stuff, totally reusable. Paint, reusable. Paintbrushes, reusable. Again, the paint and the paintbrushes are really good for art integration, and I'm probably 100% positive that your art teacher will let you borrow some stuff. So, and you're going to have scissors in your room. Buttons, you have to have googly eyes. If you don't have googly eyes, you just need to stop this video and go buy some right now. Hot glue gun. Most teachers have one. If you don't, I'm sure one of your fellow teachers would have one. Again, that's one of those things you probably want to moderate during the project. But definitely, or if you have a really, really, really responsible, crafty student, let them do it. Anyway, so in closing, I told you at the beginning of the video, you can definitely integrate English as well. Although this project is for my social studies class and specifically for social studies for me, the way I would introduce this is I would probably try to dress up as somebody who made a big difference. I don't really know who I would choose. Let's just think of somebody off the top of my head. Maybe I would dress up as Harriet Tubman, just so since I already have that example, and then I could show them a real life example and then a bottle example. And what I would do is I would dress up as Harriet Tubman that day, and I would introduce myself as Harriet Tubman, and I would sorry y'all, he's really spoiled. And I would introduce myself as Harriet Tubman, and I would tell the class about me as Harriet Tubman. And I would really hope that would gain their interest. And then we could go into a lesson about maybe even a KWL chart on who they know that made a big difference in the United States, who they know that is still making big differences. Again, this project does not have to be people of the past. It can be people of the present for sure. Donald Trump, Barack Obama, anybody. I even saw some students who wanted to do baseball players that made big differences in the United States. So anybody. And so as far as integrating English, when they go to do their research on this person, because you would obviously want them to present or even write some kind of small paper on this person that they chose, you can tell them to remember that as important as it is to when they were born, where they were born, who their parents were, that's not a main detail. So to incorporate English and to integrate English into this awesome project, you would want to tell them to focus on the big events, what they did to make a difference. And so they would be deciphering whether something is major or minor, and you would want them to carry all that major stuff to present and talk about. And the last thing I'm going to show you before I wrap it up is they have these books, and these are really cool. And I'm not sure if you can get them at the library just yet. I got these at a local toy store in Spartanburg, South Carolina. But I know Barnes & Noble carries them. I'm sure you can find them on Amazon, but don't forget to shop local. This is Betsy Ross, and this is George Washington, and it's all about, it says, who was Betsy Ross, who was George Washington, and it's all about what they did, and it's very kid-friendly. There's not a lot of wording, but there's pictures, and we all know Betsy Ross made the flag, and it just talks about how she got there and what our flag represents now, and it's so cool. These are so awesome. And then, of course, kids have Chromebooks and stuff nowadays as well, and library, and access to the internet at home and stuff like that. But you can make this an at-home project or an in-class project. The only suggestion that I would make about this project is I would do an in-class project just because you don't want to send a child home and they not have the resources to do it. So, over the span of a week, every day take about 30, 40 minutes to work on it. And they would have bottle people at the end of the week, and then hopefully have some research done as well. So I hope that you consider making this a part of your social studies class, because not only is it all about social studies and learning about the people who made a difference in our country, it's also going to integrate your arts, it's going to integrate your English, and kids will have fun with this. It is so fun. And on that note, make sure they choose somebody who they're interested in. Don't just say, hey, little Johnny, you're going to do Betsy Ross. He's never heard of Betsy Ross. He doesn't want a woman. Let them choose somebody they're interested in. Maybe even let them write down 3 names that they would want to do, and you pick 4 of them. Something like that. So it gives them a little bit of power, but it also gives you a little bit of power to choose who you want to see. Awesome, guys. I hope that you enjoyed this. I hope that you consider doing this with your classroom one day. It is so fun. I'm 29. Again, I think I say that in every video, and I had a blast doing this. I had so much fun. So y'all have a great day, and don't forget to email me if you have any questions. And also, I will have a blog on this. So I'll have a picture of all my materials in case you missed something, and then a step-by-step on how to do it, as well as my email if you need to get in touch with me. Y'all have a good day.